You're beautiful and you're fine. Just channeling that Lilith energy. So it says we are live, and I'm sure the notifications are going to be dropping soon. So everybody watching on playback, welcome. Um, and I will repeat when people start popping in. Nancy is feeling under the weather today, but she sends her best, and hopefully maybe she'll pop in chat and say hi. But Nancy, we love you. Sending lots of healing energy. Hope you feel better soon, my dear. And it says here right now, it takes a while for my StreamYard to kick in. It says we have 4 watching. So it may take a few moments for chat to start showing. So this Monday, we have, oh my goodness, look who's on time.
Oh,
Tom, I know. How weird. When I came on, the video was showing a broken thumbnail and not playing.
oh no. I hope that's not for everyone.
I hope not either. Oh my goodness. I had to refresh and it started. Ooh, must be that Lilith energy.
Yeah,
Coming in
she's getting
strong.
cheeky.
Yes. So yeah, Nancy's not feeling well, so we could all just send her lots of love and positive energy and a quick recovery. So this week, Kristen is joining me today, and she's going to be sharing her new spiritual journey, which involves Lilith. And thanks, Tom, for joining us. It is good to see you. Um, and it says we have 6 people, 8 people, and I'm only seeing. So if anybody's having issues, it's not my end. It's got to be StreamYard, because I know people have been having issues with StreamYard
Mm,
or YouTube, where they start commenting, but it won't let them comment. It takes sometimes 20 minutes to half hour. So I don't know what's up with YouTube. I'm just going to go jump really quick to my phone and see YouTube to see how we look right now. Um, let's see. If anyone is seeing the chat and not a video, please refresh the page. This is really strange.
yeah.
Um, but the show will go. Yeah, look at this. Look at that.
Oh no.
Wow. Looks good and sounds crisp. Okay.
Okay.
Well, not on my phone, it doesn't. Oh, there
Oh,
she
there's
is.
Nancy.
There's Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Yeah, this is what I'm
Hi.
seeing on my phone right now, y'all. Um, you know what? Let me go out. Kristen, hang tight. I'm just going to back out and come back in, and maybe that might help. The thumbnail is blank.
Yeah.
Why is the thumbnail
Wow.
blank?
That's crazy.
Well, maybe StreamYard's pissed off at me because I decided to cancel my paid membership. But I'm going to back out and come back in and see if that helps. Hang tight, Kristen, and
Okay. Hi, Topaz. Oh, okay. It's on your mobile on a train in Australia. Oh, and it's working. Yeah. Yeah, Tom. It's my channel now. Feel the power.
okay, so hopefully I see you both are Sue Toffee, and I'm on my mobile, and she's in a train in Australia. Okay,
Yeah, so it's working some places.
yeah, it's still not. It's still showing. Oh, yeah, my thumbnail is blank. It is blank.
Oh,
That was my
oh,
thumbnail.
oh no.
What the frig?
Oh
No, we're not
my
talking about frig today. We're
gosh.
talking about Lilith
Yeah.
Heather. So everybody, welcome. Okay, we got people popping in. Kristen's channel now. Yes. So everybody knows that Kristen. Well, first of all, let me back up and say for people popping in, Nancy's a little under the weather. She can't join us today. She's saying hello in chat. We can all send her healing energy, that would be wonderful. And just Chris and I were talking backstage, a quick disclaimer and a thing for YouTube entertainment and educational purposes only. Lilith has many forms and variations, and some have reached out with some concerns that we are going to be focusing on the heavy, dark, demonic side of Lilith. I will let everybody know that this is not our topic of conversation today, not this form of Lilith. We will be talking about patriarchal religion. Most of us are very comfortable with that, knowing how a lot of Christianity and a lot of the other patriarchal religions took over. A lot of the early goddesses were demonized. Um, and so their myths were rewritten by men. So there will be discussions about, how Christianity did, demonize women. We have, like Mary Magdalene, we have Lilith. Look what they did to Eve and a lot of other different goddesses. So this is just, Kristen here sharing her story, her spiritual journey, and of course, as always, we request that, if you want to share your perspectives, please just do so in a respectful manner in chat. And we will do, the same, as well. So, with that said, Kristen, I'm going to hand it over to you and share your story with it. Well, before we do, really quick, I want to say hello to Tom. Chris is here, and there's our Nancy lurking. Mwah. Um, and there's Sue. Sue is here, and some of their servers are probably wonky. Okay. Amber is here. Hello, Amber. And Scott. Hello, Scott. Good to see you, Scott. So we said hello to everybody, and go ahead, Kristen.
Well, oh shoot, where do I begin? Okay, so I has just recently, maybe in the past few months, started working with Lilith energy. Before that, I was Norse pagan. What else would you want to know about me? Norse pagan is my home. It's my home base. But the gods have taken a break from me, and Lilith popped up. You said you wanted me to mention my master's in Christian theology.
Because you've had different experiences, yeah, with different religions.
Yes. So I have a master's in Christian theology. I have considered many different paths. I've seriously considered, so many. Christianity, Judaism. I even researched Islam for a little bit. But paganism is where I usually land, in some form or fashion. So the fact that Lilith popped up, who is comes out of Semitic, mostly Jewish. Like before that, she came out of Babylonian culture. So those were the original whisperings of what was called the Lilith, and the Lilith were wind spirits. Yeah, and those were the original Liliths were the Lilith, and that was a dark wind spirit, and so, but the Lilith that I work with is the one who was Adam's first wife, basically. So she was brought into Judaism and was seen as this horrible demon woman because she was sexual, and that's not good. That's one of she epitomizes what people fear, basically.
And she refused to lay under Adam too.
Yes. So yeah, that's what drew her out. It's like he was like, you are inferior to me, get under me. You lay down and I'll get on top of you. And she was like, no. She was like, no, I am equal. And this story comes out of the alphabet of Ben Sirah, who was a writer in around the year 1000. And that's when the Lilith that I work with seemed to start coming to form. So she was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. I'm all over the place. So let me back up a bit. So there is 2 creation stories in the Old Testament. There is one where Adam and the woman are created simultaneously out of the same earth. Then there's another story where Adam is created and the woman is created from his rib. Why are there 2 creation stories? One is called the priestly writer. He uses the term Elohim to refer to God, which is a feminine term for God. And then there's the other author who wrote the other creation story, who refers to God as Yahweh, and that's the masculine term for God. And so rabbinical writers and what have you were like, well, why are there 2 creation stories? There must have been 2 women. And so that's where Lilith popped in. And she was put into this place as the woman who was originally created. And then because she refused to be subservient, she was kicked out and replaced. So that is the Lilith, and she became angry. She is a goddess of sexuality. She is a goddess of empowerment. She's a goddess of righteous anger. And so she is an intense energy to work with. So yes.
And I think you mentioned already, I was trying to keep it up with chat. You do have, did you share that you do have a degree in, I keep forgetting.
Theology. Yeah.
It's a degree in, so is it a doctorate? Is it a master's?
Master's. Yeah, it's a master's in Christian theology. Yeah, which I got at a Lutheran seminary. And then I also took classes at a pontifical college, which is a Catholic seminary that is under the direct direction of the Pope. So
Kristen knows her history with her religions, which is amazing. And Tom said, which would explain the other gods and creatures referenced in the Bible as well.
Yes, yeah, the
that's a whole rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, like the original Israelites were not monotheists; they were henotheists. So they believed in many gods, but they chose one to work with, to covenant with. So yeah.
And we do have a question from Tom.
Mm-hmm.
What is Lilith's connection to Inanna? Because I've worked with Inanna before. Are they one and the same or different aspects?
Right. I say they're different aspects. Like Inanna, she has similarities to, what's that other Babylonian deity?
Ishtar?
Ishtar. Yes, thank you.
I know there's Astarte. There's like Ishtar.
Yeah. And they're all similar.
Many. Yeah.
Yeah, but and some people see Lilith as sort of like the beginning seeds of Lilith were in Inanna. So it's not that they're the same goddess, but there are definitely similarities that were sort of birthed forth out of that cultural context.
And Scott said, and you're right, Kristen is fascinating with all her knowledge. So when she speaks on this, she understands. Now, I'm not speaking for her, but I'm just reiterating, she knows her shit. Let's just say. I don't know, people know me, I try not to curse too much, but, I give credit where, credit is due. She knows. So what else, is there anything else that you would like to share of what, did she just appear one day? How,
She just became this powerful compulsion for me. Like it was like she just came out of nowhere, just out of nowhere. And usually my spiritual experiences are very quiet. They're very slow moving. They're very methodical, very intellectual, even academic to some extent. But with Lilith, it's been a very emotional, visceral experience for me. And so I couldn't ignore it. So I'm like, there's something here. And like I said before we started filming, I don't know if Lilith is real or not. I don't know if she's an archetypal energy, or if she is an actual entity. At this point in time, I've always experienced deity as existing within sacred space. And then outside of it, they seem more archetypal. And I have not begun creating sacred space with Lilith yet. I'm very early in my journey. So yeah, I got not whispers, but just a scream in the face, like, woman, you need to face this way, because I had worked with Freya before then. She was my primary goddess that I worked with in the Norse pantheon. And she was a sexual goddess as well, but she started to sort of wane and sort of become distant, and just she sort of stepped away. And then Lilith just came in and was like, just pow, in my life. And so she's a very, very sexual being. And I see her as very empowering for women who have suffered, from sexual shame. Yes.
The original one of the original feminists.
Yes, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the Lilith Festival.
Yes.
I went to the Lilith Festival, so there you go. So
yeah. And there's like a Jewish magazine, spiritual magazine named Lilith. Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. So one of my things, my spiritual shticks is sexual freedom and sexual liberation, because I see that as a problem, in organized religion, and the Abrahamic religions especially. There's just a lot of sexual repression, both men and women, but especially women.
Mm-hmm.
Women are not allowed to be erotic, without being called a slut. If they aren't sexual enough, they're called prudes, and so they can't win, so there's this box that women are put in, and basically they can't win because they're either a slut or a prude. And this is a narrative that is in our culture, and I think it needs to be fought against. And Lilith is an energy that fights against that. So
very interesting. So Tom had another question.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just back up, and we want to say really quick, thank you everybody for joining us. We've had Fatima joining us, Jackie Jacaranda is here, Free Spirit has joined us, so thank you everybody. And Early says, I see Ishtar, Anana, and Lilith used synonymously sometimes, and other times as different deities, and then sometimes different aspects of the same energy. I'm always curious how people use them.
Mm-hmm. I've never worked with Inanna or Ishtar. I'm open to them appearing to me at this point, just because I'm working with one Babylonian entity. I might as well open myself up to the other ones. But my understanding is that Ishtar and Inanna were the same deity at one point. They were previously two separate deities, but because cultures came into contact, I believe Babylonian and Sumerian, they became basically two names for the same goddess. That's my understanding of them.
So. Yeah, like Diana, Artemis,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of some of the similar. Same thing with the Celtic. Mm-hmm. Rhiannon, Epona, a lot of different, the Welsh, the Irish, the Celtic. So that's very interesting. It's hard. Some people don't know, but it's like you won't know for yourself until, I like how you said that, Kristen, until you create sacred space and you invite that energy in. Will you know whether or not that's an archetypal energy or if there is an actual deity energy of themselves. And yes, Tom says they merged. Exactly. So does anybody have questions for Kristen Louise? I mean, you and I were talking backstage about, all different aspects of Lilith. Now we're
I was going to say that one of the aspects of her being demonized was the fear that she caused men. She was seen as a succubus, a woman who would come in, make men masturbate, spill their seed, and then go against the word of God that said that you couldn't spill your seed because reproduction was so essential and so valued. Mm-hmm. That men having nocturnal emission or masturbating were seen as horrible acts against God. And so Lilith became the scapegoat. She was the scapegoat to say, oh, Lilith made me do it. I didn't do it myself. She came in, she got me all sexified, and I just couldn't help myself, you know. And they took this seriously. There are amulets that were created against Lilith. There were these incantation bowls that were put in Jewish homes. They were buried in the earth, and they were meant to keep Lilith out. There were documents of divorce saying, oh, go away, Lilith, I divorce you, because they thought that like Lilith would come in and attach herself like a bride, to the men. So
wow.
Yeah.
And hello, Magus, good to see you. And Tom said I had started reading Rod and Ring and got interested in Inanna. Never worked with her. My deity work is limited by choice, but it's something I am more open to nowadays. Well, that's good to hear, Tom.
Yeah.
For me, Inanna was very even saying her name, she was one of the first goddesses I ever learned of, because that traditional one in my 20s when Starhawk was popular, and she started teaching the you've seen Inanna, Astarte, Demeter, there was that goddess
chant,
chant. And so that's how I first learned about Inanna, and then hearing how she had to go through and kept removing, and then having her sister take her life when she got down there. And it was just like, there was just something to me about being stripped of all your worldly possessions, and being, to me, it's like a reflection of, you're stripping away all of your things of you that are not of your highest, necessarily your highest good, and kind of forcing you to face your shadow self. And having to, and once and of course, they said, she put Inanna on a meat hook, and and hunted her until she was rescued. But for me, if you kind of think about it too, it's almost kind of like the Hangman. They kind of hung there, and like Odin on the tree, they sacrificed themselves to get knowledge, insight into who they were, and into life and death, and the cycle of life, to be reborn again. So it's, people don't realize a lot of these mythologies that we have today were rewritten by men. So the real true mythologies of all these goddesses, of these gods, of these stories are pretty much lost, or being held locked in in the Vatican. They say the Vatican has like, I don't know how many, 100 miles or so of not hundreds, or I don't know, possibly, of books and things and stuff that they have taken to so yeah, I can see that really wondering where those mythologies, how they truly existed. And so we have what was created and rewritten by men.
Yeah.
The same thing with Morgan Le Fay. We were talking about, the Morgan Le Fay, and how whenever you look up Morgan Le Fay, oh, she's the evil sister of King Arthur, who, wanted to use her magic to, da da da. But that was rewritten in myth stories by Christian monks, or they took over, and to them reading mythologies. Well, this is how we think about the women. So you're going to have that. I don't know if you want to call it whitewashing, but just the eradication. Maybe, I don't know what would be a better word, but And hello, Karen.
Hello. Did you see earlier when she said she walked in on, when she came in on?
Oh my goodness. Hey, 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 I walk in on masturbate. Oh no. Yeah, it's you had to be there in the beginning. But it's just like, well, you studied, you know how a lot of these mythologies were rewritten by men, plain and simple. And so the original and a lot of traditions were oral too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming
Mm-hmm.
from all your studies from other cultures as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. The earliest reference to Lilith is the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is a Sumerian and Babylonian set of stories. And she was a being that took over a tree, like the roots of a tree. And she was asked, to leave by, I think it was Gilgamesh, was asked to, by Inanna to say, she's like, this is my tree, get this woman out of it. And so,
Another tree.
yeah, and Gilgamesh somehow, I'm not exactly sure how, got Lilith to leave the tree, and then she fled to the desert. And so that's another aspect of her story, is like fleeing to the desert or the sea. She is a symbol of outcasts, someone who is seen as too much, and someone who um, doesn't kowtow down to other people in order to be seen as acceptable. So that's another part of her energy is I think is one of the things that I've always struggled with growing up is acceptance. Like, I was bullied terribly as a child, and so yeah, and so like
Mm-hmm.
there has been this
I'm
like
here.
this desperate need of acceptance for a lot of my life. And I see Lilith as giving the middle finger to that and
Yeah.
saying, no, you do not have to be acceptable all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a courageous act, to be yourself. And Lilith is someone who's saying, be yourself, be authentic.
I like that. And
Yeah.
I was sharing with Kristen too that I think it was earlier this year or last year. It's hard for me to remember my dreams. I have so many, and with the medication to take at night, it makes it really hard waking up in the morning to try to even remember, snippets of. And I always ask my guides, please let me at least have a couple snapshots or something so I can get the most important message that I needed. And I woke up one morning and there's an old fashioned typewriter in front of me in this image, and typed from the top of the page, no spaces in between the words or no lines, just straight down the page, Lilith, 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 and I'm like waking up going, wow, what's this about? And yeah,
So
nothing
maybe
has come of
peeking
that.
in at you. She was peeking in at you, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm going to start sharing some comments. Um, Amber would like to know, would Isis be of the same energy aspect like Lilith? I think not. But I'll
No,
let
I don't know a ton about Egyptian. Maybe you know more, so maybe you would be better to answer this, because I'm not too knowledgeable on Egyptian
well,
mythology.
Isis is more seen as like the mother goddess.
Mother,
She is the
yeah.
high priestess. She is the priestess of magic. She, had good relations with her husband when he was murdered and dismembered by his brother. She retrieved all of the pieces and brought him back again. She brought about his resurrection. And so for me, I think Lilith taps more into. I mean, the priestess. I mean, I'm sure there was the sexuality. You know, but it's interesting. I mean, they don't really focus from what I've seen of Isis. I haven't thoroughly studied Isis, but I know they focus a lot on her magic, on her mystery, on her priestess of knowing of the stars and um, but I've seen deck creators who have done provocative, we'll say, images of Isis, but for the traditional ones you really don't see that too much, that I have seen that
Mm-mm.
emphasize that. But she is about strength. She is the resurrector of her husband. She is, she gave birth to their son after she brought her husband back to life. So I can see her being very independent. I can see her being very empowering. And one of the things what I learned about um, Isis when I took my women in religion class, which was taught by a nun who had a doctorate. She was a Franciscan. She taught us about the goddess. She taught us about Wicca. She taught us about witchcraft along with the patriarchal. It was a great class. And she said that one of the things that, upset, once Christianity took over and patriarchy was the fact that she gave birth to Horus by riding on her husband. She fashioned a golden phallus from the remaining parts of Osiris to bring forth the birth of their son. So it's all different, so it could be, but I feel like energetically they're two very different
Yeah.
goddesses.
Yeah. I
And
see Isis is more composed and Lilith is wild. Like she has a wildness to her.
and Magus studies Magus is a Zoroastrian, and he says Isis and Horus, Mary, Jesus, water. So yeah, so it's a lot of people, because before Mary and Jesus, before you saw the mother and child, you saw the mother and child with Horus and Isis. So it's that same. Now some people feel, this is going to be maybe for a different show, won't go down this rabbit hole, but some people feel that like the images of are either taken from by Christianity moving forward, or they feel that possibly Isis, Mary are the same person reincarnated through different lifetimes. So it's really based on who you're talking to and what their experiences. Our experiences with divinity is all going to be very different. Some could be very much the same, but it could also be very much okay, there's a serious echo.
Hmm.
Okay. Hey girl, hey. Does anybody else hear a bad echo? I haven't heard anything. So if anyone's having trouble with, because Allison, we were having trouble with YouTube with the thumbnail and stuff in the beginning. So let me. There was also another. Oh, Amber says she sounds like my life story. Well, there's a lot of Um, that's why there's so many different goddesses that we can connect with, and I like with Fatima too. A lot of things in religion are based for control, to control people.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And Karen says, it's all good, this Lilith. So she likes Lilith. So let me just go and unstar so I don't miss out on any more. I think we got caught up on all the comments. Um and I might have to mute in a second. I hear sirens coming. And there's rain. Oh, I spelled it wrong, Kristen. Oops. Okay. I can hear you fine. So okay, good. So, the sound is good. Alrighty. Okay. So anything else does anybody want to ask, or we can maybe think about tapping in? But to me, she's primal.
Yes, yes. She is everything that people on a visceral level fear. That okay. Well, I guess I'll continue talking. Lilith is she on a archetypal level, on a psychological, um, visceral level, has throughout history been a character of fear. Someone that she was the scapegoat. She was the one that other people saw as taking their children, killing their children. So she was something to be feared. So she was scapegoated for all these things that people would go through, and it's usually around fertility and motherhood. And in the story, the later story of Lilith, when she was cast out of Eden, one of the reasons, she made a bargain with God, and she said, okay, I will stay away and you don't kill me. I will give up my children. And she was like, so the first hunt, she gave birth to many children. So she said, okay, the first 100 children that I give birth to every day, you can kill. Yeah, and so then she became sort of this grieving mother, who was filled with wrath, and so that's another aspect of her story, is one that people feared because they're like, she's going to seek revenge. And so yeah, so I mean, she's multifaceted. There's many layers over the centuries and millennia of different aspects to these different Liliths. So yeah, so that's one aspect too.
And I was mentioning the beginning of the show, and for people coming in, Kristen Louise and I are focusing on the non-demonic, because we all know that there are different aspects to all goddesses, all gods, all different religions. And it had been brought to my attention that some people were concerned we would be bringing in demonic energy or malevolent energy into our show today. And I had to reassure everybody and just new people here as well that we're Kristen isn't working with that particular aspect that some people like to
Mm-mm.
of Lilith. We are looking at the archetypal energy. We're looking at the initial true primal goddess energy that is
Yeah,
her.
and the feminist
Feminist says yes.
aspect. Yeah.
And Kristen says, my little pup Benny Bear is listening to your voice intently. I should take a photo. He loves your voice, Kristen.
Aww. Is that the one that has the same birthday as me?
I don't.
I know one of her dogs has the same birthday as me.
Aww.
On
And let's
Thursday.
see.
Yeah.
Magus, is anyone familiar with or heard of Celia?
I've heard of Saint Cecilia, but no goddess Cecilia.
Or Celia or Celia. Yes, Celia. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. Sorry, it's not. Oh, that's StreamYard doing this again. Hold on, folks. There we go. So Celia, no, and like Heather would ever bring anything. Yeah, well, we have some people in our community that are careful and cautious. Yes, Benny and you both turn on the 20 on the 29th. Oh, how sweet!
Yes.
So you got a birthday coming up.
Yes, Thursday on the 21st. Yeah. So Benny, yeah,
Thursday.
we both turned 29. Yes, on Thursday.
Oh, so happy early birthday. So
Thank
there was
you.
also another comment. Amber, I'm looking, here we go. So the Greek god, I'm not familiar with Greek goddesses really. The Greek goddess Eris. I know she was the one who was responsible for the reason for the Trojan War. I do. I'm not. I never connected with the Greek. I was always kind of like, ooh, fascinated by like Diane and art, but a lot of the stories just kind of, really kind of turned me off. I really didn't resonate. Um, so, was there anything that Do you know of Eris that you can?
Just that she's a chaotic goddess. She brings chaos. That's all I know.
So
That's all I
Tom
know.
might know more about Eris, since like Tom sometimes works with the chaos magic or the chaos
Okay.
energy.
Yeah.
And so happy early birthday. So this is interesting. Thank you, Amber. What is the difference between Black Moon Lilith and Dark Moon Lilith? Well, there's astrology. So there's like an aspect. I don't know if it's an asteroid. Karen, are you still in chat? She's studying astrology. Or Allison, there is a what they refer to as a Black Moon Lilith energy.
Oh, I did not know this.
It's part of
There is an elder and younger Lilith in myth, and they have different characteristics. So, like the older one is the more angry goddess, the one who has vengeance over her children, and then the younger Lilith is the seductress. So, I don't know if that relates to those two things or if that's completely different. I don't know. So, I've never heard of that.
it's an asteroid, Karen says. So it's part of people's charts because I guess it's a major asteroid. And she goes, it's asteroid Lilith, which they refer to as Black Moon Lilith.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
Okay. And let's see, Allison, Dark Moon is the period right before the new moon begins to show itself. Black Moon, I have no idea. Yeah, I've heard of, Dark Moon, Black Moon Lilith, but the two different. That's very interesting. Meg says, I'm interested in what you might know of the crossroads.
I don't know if that relates to Lilith at all, Crossroads. That I haven't heard Crossroads being part of her myth. I know the only places where I've heard Crossroads messages are Hecate, and then there's some story in African folk spirituality about the devil being met at the crossroads. So
Down
that
south.
yeah, and so you make a pact with the devil at the crossroads, something like that. Don't quote me on that. So I there isn't anything related to Lilith with crossroads that I know
of yet, possibly. And yes,
Yeah.
crossroads with Hecate, and there or Hecate. It's interesting though with crossroads because it even crossroads are really prevalent, and I think in a lot of myths. And I know that learning about the Morgan, I think there's one sometimes where you come across. I don't know if it's a crossroads or you come upon the washing of the river. You know that you meet. You know the one aspect of her. I think it might be at a crossroads where if there's a river nearby and you see her washing. You know the blood out of a shirt that represents that your time is coming for the end of your life cycle, death is upon you. So a lot of times the crossroads have to deal with death, rebirth, choosing a new life path, like what you're doing right now.
Yeah, making
And
difficult choices for yourself.
and
Yeah.
you are welcome, Magus. And well, hello, Gerald. I hope you had a wonderful rest of your show with Bobby. Just a really quick shout out, Bobby Fierro Tarot had a conversation with the cards um, on his channel with Gerald. And so everybody make sure you go and check out that. And Rain said yes. Making a deal with the devil at the crossroads is interesting. If you think of the devil card, you might be at a crossroads where you are tempted to repeat or do something new. So there's your opportunity to break the chains,
Yeah.
remove them, very interesting. See, Rain, and you worry about not being a good reader. Please, my dear. You're an amazing reader.
Yeah, you have nothing to worry about, Rain. You are a wealth of tarot knowledge.
And Kristen is a guest on Wednesday, right? With KL.
Wednesday? Not this Wednesday. It's not until December that I'm on
December
Bobby's
2nd.
Bobby's channel. Yeah.
So yes. We'll get to hear about her journey again through the cards. That would be fun. I love how Bobby created that. It's an amazing interview.
Yes.
It's just
We'll see what pops out of me. Yeah, it's yeah, I tend to overshare if I get comfortable and stuff like that. So we'll see what part of me you hear, during that interview.
Yeah, Chris is getting back into the flow, everybody, and she was a little nervous, but I told her, just be yourself. We all know Kristen, and just relax and be yourself, and amazing reader as well. So, and I just love when people share their spiritual journeys here too. He goes, "Oh, sorry, that wasn't." See, I did that again.
Yeah,
sorry, and it clicked on. See, this is what I don't like about StreamYard. I'm actually tapping Gerald, and they're giving me rains.
Weird.
See?
Weird.
Oh my God! Sometimes I wish there was another platform besides StreamYard, so that Anyway, we need more Kristen vids or live streams.
Yeah, I can't, as videos on my channel, I just can't think of much to do, to be honest. And I'm not a collector, so I'm not like someone who has a deck haul every couple of weeks, So I could probably do that once a year.
Live deck readings.
Haul. Yeah, I'm nervous about that. I'm more comfortable going on other people's channels. But I just have this feeling that I'm going to push live, and I'm going to just be sitting there no one's going to show up or there'll be one or two people there.
That's what's happened. That happened to me.
Really?
I mean, I had well, people showed up, but it was maybe one or two. Or they're like, "Oh, Heather, you finally did it!" Yeah, and that was 3 years ago. And this coming month is my third year channelversary, so um, I'm finally up to okay. So it takes a
Wow.
while,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I guess I have to sort of,
but once I did it, it was so much fun afterwards. It was
mhm.
like, oh, when do I get to do it again? So,
That's
but
cool.
talk about readings.
Yes.
How about this? So, um, we were talking backstage, and it's like because everybody knows that Nancy and I like to do messages from the divine feminine. With us having Lilith being discussed today, one of her what I loved most was about how she empowers women. So Kristen and I wanted to know if anybody would like for us to pull a couple cards and how can I become more empowered, to honor, one of the main, aspects of Lilith. To go ahead and do the type me in there. So
Yeah.
and let's see, Kristen, that's how I felt Saturday night. Yes, Rain did her very first live Saturday night by herself.
Oh,
I love
nice.
readings. She goes, nobody's going to show, but people did. So,
Very nice.
and the
Yeah,
more you
well,
do it, hmm
someday I'll brave it.
yep. I guess it makes sense after you find your groove. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Most definitely. And Gerald says we could explore that together, Rain. Ooh. So, what decks do you have for today?
The three decks that I used to connect with Lilith recently have been the Stunning Tarot, and which is a deck that I've really struggled with reading with, but I'm starting to get a flow with it. And then the Witch's Tarot by Burning
Ooh.
Paper Hearts, and the Abyssal Tarot. So lots of naked women, so
Well,
lots of
listen to,
nudity.
people, we're adults here, so
Yes.
YouTube don't like it, and I'm not monetized, so with the nudity, so no worries about that.
Okay.
And that wasn't at you; that was at YouTube. We're thankful for you too, Magus. And let's see, there's still so many videos I still need to watch from all you ladies, but with my work schedule, it's hard to watch them all. It's hard. So even just a couple minutes here and there. I mean, there's just too many of us to be able to watch. And
Hmm.
Shelby has joined us. And for me, I brought my goddess of the women, goddesses of the world. I have my obsidian veil. I have my Colette and Reed, and I have my ethereal tarot. I got my hush. I also came going through my stuff and I went, oh, there's my little everyday tarot deck put out by Biddy. I just love the artwork. It's just simple 3 colors, and her messages are short, concise, um, and I like them. So
Oh.
just bring whatever felt like coming to the party. So does anybody like? How can I become more empowered? If you would like a reading, go ahead and just type me in there and we'll get to it. And if we don't get any takers, then we can just do a collective. I am back on the free StreamYard, so I'm not going to be able to do as many shows. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we'll probably be able to go till about. Kristen, are you good till about 6:15, 6:30?
Yeah.
Nothing later. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So let's see. We've got a star. We got Amber, and I'm trying to go very slowly so it doesn't jump. And I so Shelby, maybe you can catch up a little bit on the show. We were talking about Lilith, and that's why we are doing these readings. And Allison and Rain are having a conversation. What is this? Look, thanks, Allison. I'm bent on why people treat each other the way they do in relationships, plus my desire to help. Thank you so much. And oh, Rain, I have a whole theory on that. So that's their
Oh, I'm
conversation.
interested.
And Amber says, I'm finally finding my voice these days.
Oh,
And
that's
that is
wonderful.
wonderful, Amber.
Yes.
And Maruta is here. Mother Maru's House of Cards. Hello, my dear. So, Amber, let's do Amber.
Okay.
Mm. I think I'm going to stick with the obsidian, seeing that, some people are afraid of Lilith too because she's considered a dark goddess. But, for me, there's all different types of dark. There's your
Yeah.
malevolent dark, but there's your spiritual, empowering dark where,
Mm-hmm.
because you
Yeah.
can't have the light without the dark.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah. Like
two balance you. Yeah.
you had referred earlier to like Odin hanging on the tree, to gain knowledge. And that's one of Lilith's aspects as well, is like going through the ordeal path. You need to go through these dark moments in these shadows in order to reach your higher self. So, yeah.
Let's- Oh, this is interesting. Did you want me to go first, or would
Sure,
you?
yeah, you can
Oh,
go first.
okay. I always
Yeah.
like to make sure my guests go first if they're ready. So Amber, I have for you from the Dark Goddess Oracle, the Obsidian Veil. I pulled Red Riding Hood for you. And the message on her card is even the smallest among us possess the strength to defy the lurking shadows. So when it comes to how can I become more empowered with her, it's tapping into your strength, knowing that strength is there, looking back on life and acknowledging all those moments where you had to really tap into your strength. It may not seem like much to you then, but when you start to look back over the years, it just goes to show your resiliency. And not just the resiliency, but the vulnerability as well. Um, the scars, the traumas and things. There are lessons, there are our life map, there are roadmaps, of our spiritual development and of our life. And when we remember to tap into that strength, um and it's just the lurking shadows. Those are the shadows that are maybe they're not that necessarily the healthy shadows, but actually those shadows, still look into those shadows, because those shadows will show you those aspects of yourself that you didn't think that you had the strength. They will show you how much that you were strong. And when it comes to the nagging shout, it is like the negative self-talk. So just remember to tap into that strength that you had. And I pulled from the ethereal for you, and I did get the overall energy. I got the Tower card, and I got that too today, my girl. But the Tower card is not bad, and I know it's not exploding like in traditional tarot, but the Tower card is about rebuilding, taking what is in kind of rumbles around you and shambles, and knowing that you can rebuild from that. And your top card is the Five of Pentacles, so you may be going through something right now. Where you feel like you're isolated, you're alone, you don't maybe know which way to turn, but just know that there is hope, there is help out there. You are rebuilding that beautiful tower, and you know that you have that strength. So that's where that energy comes in, tapping into that strength. And I'll give you over to Kristen.
So the first card you got is the Lovers. And if you recall from the original artwork and the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's in the Garden of Eden. And there's actually a Michelangelo painting where it's actually Lilith that's giving the fruit to Eve. And what I see in this story is that you have wisdom within you. You have knowledge of life, and you have a wordless knowledge within you, which is a deep wisdom, and you need to tap into that. You need to affirm that within you. that you might be not seeing yourself through those eyes, that through that lens, that you are able to find the right information within you that can help you make hard choices. You can make hard choices. You have in the past, and you will again, because you have a depth of wisdom within you to help you move through those trials. You also got the Four of Cups. And I see this card as saying, don't dissociate from your feelings. It's not a weakness to feel your feelings. Don't numb yourself. If you, like, a lot of people think that the lack of feelings is what makes you strong. And it's not. It's processing the feelings. You can't help but feel anger and sadness and grief and fear and jealousy. You feel all these feelings, and it's okay. It's human to feel those feelings. And that doesn't mean that you're not strong just because you feel those feelings. Just keep that in mind when you're feeling overwhelmed and you need to sort of regulate your nervous system and feel like you're feeling overwhelmed and you need to bring yourself down and get grounded. That process is part of being empowered. It's not the antithesis of empowerment. You also got the Star, and the Star for me is one of hope. It's one of seeing your way forward, your path forward to something brighter in the future. And so don't lose hope. Feel empowered by knowing deep within that you have a purpose and that you belong here, and you will bring great things to people's lives. You will touch people's lives in many ways. There's an Emerson quote that says, hit your wagon to a star. And that's what I'm going to say is hit your wagon to a star. Don't lose hope. Even in the darkest moments, when you have hope, you have strength. So that's what I have.
Wow. I've never seen anyone talk about the Four Cups like that. This is why I like reading with other readers, because I learn different aspects to cards. So numbing yourself with those cups, because you get the typical, well, this person's feeling kind of apathetic. They're looking at all the spilled cups. They don't want, but to have someone put it in the context like that of those spilled cups could be things that you were trying to drink, trying to, not look at. I love that. That's another whole new aspect. That is so cool.
Thank you.
Love that. Love that. And yes, Shelby, we need darkness in order to see the light. We do. And Amber said, well, Heather, that just gave me chills because you were so right on about what I've been reflecting on in my life. And so by typing for, I've never heard, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone referring to the cups, the Four Cups like that. It's very interesting. This is why I like reading with other readers. It's fun to be able to, to do it, now and then by yourself, to give yourself that little boost of confidence. But for me, I like talking to somebody. I feel like I'm talking to I guess why I don't do pre-recorded videos. It feels weird because I'm like sitting there talking to myself, and something I can't edit videos. So if I'm just like, I can't go back in there.
Yes. And I don't edit. When I do videos, I don't edit. I just stumble through them. So
same thing with Allison. She goes, there's something in there. She goes, I don't edit. Just going to have to accept it. So she does that too. So she might still be typing. So our next read is for Rain. She was like, me. And I'm glad I get to read for Rain today because her and Jackie got to read for me. So
cool.
Her and Jackie did their very first live show together today.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be regular on Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure next Monday, check that out, everybody. And all righty. So I already have cards for Rain.
Okay. I haven't shuffled yet.
That's okay. And so Rain, I went from my Goddesses of the World, and I pulled out someone named Nisaba. So there is your goddess, Nisaba. And let's find out about her, because a lot of these goddesses are people don't even know about. And so her key word is pursue learning. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're taking those online courses. You are learning how to, you're with your editing, you're learning how to do your website. You're doing all these amazing things for yourself. And that's just, it's incredible. So she's a very empowering. So let's see what else we can find out about. And look at this. She's Sumerian. So we have a Sumerian goddess here with us. Another one. So the Sumerian goddess of writing and wisdom imparts the importance of learning and intellectual growth. Um, Approach life with a thirst for knowledge and curiosity, just as Nisaba shared her wisdom with mortals. Let her guidance inspire you to pursue learning, for it is through cultivating wisdom that you expand your horizons. So that is Nisaba. And your tarot cards, your overall energy is Hierophant. So it's that spiritual learning, um, along with what you're doing with, well, the education that you're doing with the psychology and with the life coaching and everything, that all ties into your spiritual practice. You're doing your Sunday shows with the inner tarot and doing your pre-recorded shows. So you are sharing, you are writing your questions for your shows, your prompts. This is so very much you. So this is that overall energy of you moving forward, tapping into breaking down the old ways of, the traditional dogmas, and the cracks, they're falling apart, and these birds are basically heralding a new way of thinking. The old structures are falling apart, and you're building a new. The top card though is the Four of Pentacles. So let me see what Jeremy wrote, because the Four of Pentacles, is, some people consider the miser card, holding on to things, holding on. And for me, immediately, that feels very much like you holding on to your wisdom, like, do I have enough to share? Can I read, like you're saying today, can I read my cards very well? Can I do my lives very well? So stop holding back, start sharing those beautiful pentacles of your wisdom, of your spiritual studies, and your knowledge. But I just want to look really quick at Jeremy, because I always love to share what Jeremy writes about his cards. So okay, through your hard work, you have gained great wealth. Now you stand guard over all that you have created, watching it as it grows fruitfully. So in his book, it's nothing about miserly. It's you're building on the bones and the decay of the past, which is beautiful, because without death there can be no rebirth, and you are definitely going through that rebirth. And that's what I have for you. And it's so cool that you got a Sumerian goddess, and Lilith is a Sumerian goddess. So maybe they're doing a high five with each other next. You go handle this one here. That's cool.
Well, yes, that's very cool. Okay, so I got the Three of Pentacles, and to me, I think this means it means collaboration. It means that you can be empowered through the encouragement of other people. Listen to what other people are saying about you, about how you inspire them. Don't poo-poo it. They're telling you the truth when they tell you you're badass and you're awesome. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt your spark. Don't doubt your fire. They're there to support you, and you can be empowered through not walking the walk alone. There's people there to help you along the way and to be your cheerleaders. You got the World. And to me, this is the Dorothy card. She is someone who has had the power with her the whole time. She has had the ruby slippers. And so you are whole. You are complete. You are a complete and beautiful being, even in your darkest hour. Even when you suffer depression or
Gorgeous card.
anxiety, um, you have the ruby slippers and you can go to your home, your home base, your womb, what brings you the most comfort and joy. And that can empower you as well. To keep that in mind, that you are not broken. You also got the Eight of Wands. And to me, this is a fiery, passionate card. And this is about just charging forward. And, courage is not being fearless, it's acting in the face of your fear. And that is what I think this card is saying, is to act in the face of your fear. Drive forward, go towards your dreams, what you feel called to do, what service you feel called to do. Because you got it, girl. You got that fire, and it's ready to light up the world. So that's what I got for you.
Very cool. I love that first card that I love the colors.
Yeah. Oh, the world card.
Oh my God. I love those
Yeah, the
colors.
purple. Yeah.
Hmm. My type of colors. So there you go, Rain. And while I know she's typing a response, Amber shared with you, Kristen, that resonated so much for me. I have had to make some difficult decisions, and I'm rebuilding my life after I had a major tower moment 16 months ago. Thank you both so very much. You are
You're
welcome,
welcome.
Amber. And next up is Moonfox. That's Shelby.
Okay.
And Shelby will be our last read. And then maybe we can do one for the collective.
Yeah. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Gonna mute
You gotta come
myself.
on more often and read with me. I enjoy reading
Okay.
with you.
That'd be great.
So Shelby, I pulled Kitsune really likes to come out of this deck a lot lately. There are still some goddesses that I have not gotten from shuffling this deck. Um, and Kitsune seems to be a favorite, and she is the trickster fox. And her card says here, I walk the borderlands of illusion and truth as I reveal the power of duality. So, how can I become more empowered? By embracing the duality of illusion and truth, finding that balance, knowing what is true for you and what is false for you. This could very well be whether in spirituality, in relationships, things personal with yourselves, things that you say, tell yourself that internally you know is not true. Um, Kind of that spiritual, almost bypassing, that word just popped into my head. So Kitsune, and the foxes too. Foxes are clever, they're cunning. So maybe start using some of that natural energy um, within, tap into that fox energy, and like with Kitsune here, and start taking a step back and taking a look at your surroundings, and feeling and seeing what is illusion and what is your truth. But again, also for yourself as well. So I end up pulling from the Everyday Tarot for you, and the overall energy, Shelby, is walking away. These 8 cups do not serve you. They no longer serve you. You are off on a spiritual journey or on a trek to find the one that is emotionally fulfilling for you. It's kind of like, for me, this is kind of like the Holy Grail kind of like card. It's like these cups were not it. but you're looking in search of the one that is right for you. I do have the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is like the master of the element of fire, of creativity, um, being able to safely tame that fiery nature of passion, of ingenuity. Okay, ingenuity doesn't usually come into my preference um, with my reading, especially with wands, but ingenuity, looking at different ways of creating, looking how to direct that energy. It feels like you're still looking for that. That's that King of Wands. Keep tapping in that creativity, um, getting yourself grounded, and really just kind of focusing on what it is that is your passion. Because when you find that, and you're on that, and you are on that journey, and it's okay to be on that journey. It's like that saying, not all who wander are lost. So to, again, embrace how to become more empowered, embrace that King of Wands, the creativity, the motivation, being able to direct that energy in all different ways, and being able to again, making sure that tapping into that kitsune energy, of knowing the energy that you are directing yourself in are ones that are illusion and what is truth for you. So it sounds like this is a process, and once you start working through that, and you start finding what is your truth and what is more of an illusion or delusion, that's not who you are, you will start to feel more and more empowered. And that's what I have for you. And I'm giving you over to Kristen. You're muted.
So
You're muted, Allison. No. There's a first. There you go.
yeah. Okay. Okay, she's holding a scythe. And so I think this is a message of cutting down the weeds that no longer serve you, and harvesting the wheat that will feed you. Simple, just as simple as that. It may be hard work. Harvesting and planting is hard work. But in order to work towards your own happiness, you need to make hard choices, and you need to do the work and you are strong enough to do it. You are courageous enough to do it, to put your happiness first. Stop putting a desire to be liked, a desire to not rock the boat, a desire to not, I don't know you, so I don't know exactly what your challenges are as far as what your barriers are towards your ultimate happiness, but cut that down. Don't be afraid to shake it up a bit. Then you have the Two of Swords, which is, I think it's a similar message. You are at a crossroads. There's something you need to make a decision about, and don't be afraid to make it. Don't be afraid to fail, because if you don't make the decision, you've already failed. And so I think this is saying that there's something in your life that you need to make a decision about. And if you make that decision for yourself, you are going to feel so good about yourself. It's such a wonderful feeling to have agency in your own life. And then you got the Tower card. To me, this is you are you're being called to be the lightning. You're gonna tear that shit down. You are not the tower, you are the lightning. So there's something that's unstable in your life that needs to come down. And you have the power, you have the tenacity, you have the wisdom to tear that shit down and build something that will serve you better. So that's what I got for you.
I like that, and it's going along with both of our readings. So she shared, let's see. I've been thinking of trying to find a different job because retail, well, sucks energetically, physically, and sometimes emotionally. And girl, I did that most of my life. So yeah, I totally get it. And I've been trying to find a job in either veterinary assisting, going to data entry, or maybe going back to school. I've also been trying to sell my art and be more artistic. And to me, that feels like going back to school, being your art, being more artistic, feels like that is the King of Wands with the creativity energy. And with what Kristen you got about the scythe, cutting down what no longer, serves you and finding what makes you happy, putting yourself first. So whatever that resonates the most with you, that makes you happy. And the decision. But yeah, the Two of Swords, it all fits. I love that. Thank you so much, you two. I think I'm going to try to find another job.
Oh,
Maybe
wonderful.
maybe Shelby, looking at your local art store or something. Even if it's retail, that's still a way of maybe getting your foot into the door, getting into knowing people, that artists, that come in. That's kind of how I did it for a while when I worked at a couple of art stores. That way you get to meet other artists, you get to learn about art exhibits coming up. You get a great discount on art supplies, let me tell you. And you'd be able to create more art. So that could possibly be, a possibility. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
and okay, so I already put that up there. Yes. So, and Moira joined us. Hello, Moira. So we have time for a collective. So we are going to do that, and then we're going to end the show, and um, we'll find out what Kristen's up to after we're done with the collective. Ooh. I do too, Moira. She says, I love the sound of shuffling. Except when sometimes certain people don't realize they're readers, they'll do it right on top of their microphones, and you're
Yeah, yeah.
like, oh my God. Nice. So I am going to go ahead. So for the collective, two cards want to come out from the Obsidian Veil, and I like how they connect there. So she wolf, unleash the beast. For nurturing ferocity, I protect my kin. So as a collective, on how we can be more empowered, embracing that wild side of yourself, not being afraid of it. I love this, especially with talking about Lilith. This is about embracing your wild woman. This is about embracing that protective mother energy, that fierce energy, not being subdued or demure, or or meek, but just really tapping into that energy. And again, with the full moon, the the intuitive, the divine feminine, not being afraid of our power as women. um, I also want to come out where the fates. We shape all paths, for every thread has a purpose and every destiny is intertwined. So that is another card that wanted to come out, and being empowered, knowing that we have, well, we do have free, free will. Sometimes we have things that are already preordestined, but yet enough where we can create. Again, this is kind of like almost like a crossroads path, because you're like standing before, and it's like, okay, where do I go now? And it's maybe kind of, and if you don't necessarily believe in the fates as an entity, think of it as an archetypal energy, within yourself. Stand before yourself, your three fates, and say, okay, my life is in my destiny is in my hands for the most part, and where do I want to go with this? And when you start tapping into that, the sensation of empowerment will grow within. And the two cards that I have from the ethereal is beautiful. I got the Ace of Swords. When you do that, embracing new ideas, clarity of thought, communication with your higher self, with your spirit guides, with your higher power, or if you don't necessarily believe in a higher power, again, like we were talking about earlier, tapping into archetypal energy, looking at goddesses that resonate with you, or even elementals, but whatever it is, tapping into that energy, that communication, that intuitiveness, and the final overall energy. I got the star also. So follow that star. Um, you will feel empowered. I just love these two cards together because when you start opening up and you start communicating with your higher self, the clarity of thought, the more clear communication you have with yourself and your guides, even your shadows. Again, the light and the dark work together, and it'll help you find and follow that star, and that will give you this sense of empowerment and confidence within yourself. And so that's what I have for the collective, and I'm going to give it over to Kristen.
Okay, so I got the Nine of Wands, and in this deck, it's a woman standing completely nude out in the under the night sky, and she is standing within her power. She is, yes, yeah. She is under the moon. She is herself. She is being vulnerable. She's being empowered. She is being willing to be herself, warts and all, and to not expecting other people's approval, and to tell herself that it's okay to not be liked, and because she's a badass and she knows it. She's beautiful, she's powerful, and she doesn't need the approval of other people for her to live her life passionately and with authenticity. Got the Three of Cups, and this is about emotional connection. So I think this is a message saying don't isolate. So there might be people out there who feel like they're just not connecting with other people as much. We have social media, which is supposed to connect us, in all these different ways, but we feel alone more than ever. And so I think this is calling people who are currently feeling isolated and alone to reach out, to find community, find your tribe, even if it is online. I mean, you can find online tribes, we have one here. So don't be afraid for emotional connection and to seek it out, because it's required for happiness. For humans are social beings. Humans require that community. We also got the Fool, and I think this is telling us be the Fool. Don't be afraid to be yourself and look the fool. It's also about starting a new journey. Don't be afraid to start with childlike eyes and just look ahead. Things have been really rough for some people. It's been a heavy, heavy period of time. And I think this is saying lift your head up and keep marching forward. So that's what I got.
I got that song that goes, "Hold your head up, oh, hold your head up." I can't think of the band.
I don't know.
And I usually can. And just Karen just got home and she says, "Kristen, you won't ever feel really ready to go live by yourself. When you get the yearning, just go for it. You are amazing."
Aw, thank you, Karen.
And she also said, she goes, "You ladies are on fire." I know I highlighted. There we go. You ladies are on fire tonight.
Nice.
So
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, everybody,
Yes.
for being here. And thank you, Jackie, for putting Kristen's channel in. And yes, please, everybody go sub to Kristen. She is an amazing reader. I love the readings that we did.
Yes.
They were great. So definitely would love to have you back. Maybe if you want to join Allison and I on a Friday, we would love to have you.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
great.
and you have anything else coming up this week? Any videos or anything that you plan on doing? Or
No, the next thing that's planned is being on Bobby's channel for the Behind the Cards, and I believe that's December 2nd, is what you
December
said.
2nd?
Yeah, so you know better than I do.
But if she pops up beforehand, make sure to hit that, hit that subscribe button and check out Kristen's channel. And so let's see, tomorrow I have TTT with Jackie and Rain on Rain's channel. And then I believe Friday, Allison and I. So again, so I got the free StreamYard. I'm not going to be able to do as many lives, but I do plan on doing a probably a little mini pop up through YouTube, possibly just to start showing some cards and how they're working on the hand painted oracle deck that I'm doing.
Nice.
So I want to start showing some of the prototypes, either maybe tomorrow or maybe Wednesday, depending on I'm really happy with those, and
Nice.
that way it'll give people an idea of because these aren't going to be a photo printed deck. This is all going to be hand painted individually per person who would like a set. So these are all going to be original one of a kind decks. So I'm excited and I'm looking forward to sharing that. And I've been getting wonderful, comments from everybody and support from my fellow readers who have seen them. So, and thank you, Allison. So yeah, they are very time consuming, but yeah, I'm enjoying the process and it helps get me out of my head with everything that's going on and everything. And yeah, I've been hermit mode too. It's a good time of year to do that. You would think though, with it being November, we'd have snow on the ground and be cold and I'd be in cozying up. But no, we had beautiful 60-degree weather here today and sunshine and it won't last long, but I'm enjoying it while we have it. So thank you, Moira. And again, thank you, Kristen, for joining me today. And thank you, Amber. Says you ladies rock. And we will see everybody in the next chat or on another show. So everyone have a good night. Thank you again.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.